Have you ever watched a show that sent chills down your spine not just because of its supernatural horrors, but because of the terrifyingly real evil hiding in plain sight? Evil is one of those shows. While it's filled with demons, ghastly creatures, and eerie paranormal cases, sometimes the scariest part isn't the monsters, it's the humans who embrace true darkness. And no one embodied that more than Nurse Plague, Linda Bloch. What if I told you that this horrifying villain didn't just appear once, but twice? And each time, she left behind a trail of terror so real, so disturbing, that it lingers long after the episode ends. You might remember the name Leland Townsend, the infamous manipulator and agent of chaos. But Nurse Bloch? She's something else. She doesn't just work with evil, she is evil. Her story begins in season 1's spine-chilling episode, Room 320. Hospitals are supposed to be places of healing, but what if the very person meant to care for you was secretly plotting your demise? That's exactly the horror David Acosta faces when he finds himself at the mercy of Nurse Bloch. Wounded, vulnerable, and trapped in a hospital bed, David becomes prey to one of the most disturbing villains evil has ever introduced. Nurse Bloch isn't a supernatural monster. She doesn't have horns or glowing eyes. She doesn't crawl out of the shadows. No, she walks in with a kind smile, a soothing voice, and a lethal syringe. She's an angel of death, a twisted real-world phenomenon where medical professionals take it upon themselves to decide who lives and who dies. And in this case, Bloch specifically targets Black patients. Picture this. You're lying in a hospital bed, helpless, groggy from medication, and the only person who can help you is also the one ensuring you never leave. That's what makes Nurse Bloch so terrifying. She doesn't need demonic power, she has control, access, and the perfect cover. With each calculated move, she tightens her grip on David's life, drugging him, tormenting him, and making sure no one believes him. The tension builds as David desperately tries to escape her grasp. Every time hope flickers, she snuffs it out with another dose. Even Kristen Bouchard, one of the strongest characters in the show, struggles to break through Bloch's cold, professional facade. She's untouchable, unstoppable, and when she's finally exposed, she doesn't break. She doesn't panic, just leaving a lingering fear that she'll strike again, and then she does. Years later, just when fans started to wonder if Nurse Bloch had disappeared forever, she returned in season 4's How to Slaughter a Pig. And this time, her evil had only deepened. No longer just an independent predator, Bloch is revealed to be working with Leland Townsend himself. Her cruelty isn't random, it's strategic. It's part of something bigger. Now, she's tending to Leslie Ackhurst, surrogate mother of Timothy Kristen and Leland's son, and possibly the Antichrist. And in a moment so chilling it makes your skin crawl, Nurse Bloch hints at her desire to feed Leslie to her own unborn child. Imagine being trapped in a room with someone who sees you as nothing more than a disposable vessel. Leslie's fear is palpable, and we, as the audience, feel it with her. Bloch's return cements her as one of the most disturbing villains in evil's history. Her connection to Leland only deepens the horror. This isn't just a rogue nurse with a twisted agenda. She's part of something bigger, something darker. And what's truly terrifying, she's still human. There's no demonic possession, no supernatural excuse. She chooses to do these things. She enjoys it. Her final confrontation with Cheryl Luria is just as intense as her previous battles with Kristen and David. Cheryl, who has been entangled with darkness herself, sees firsthand just how far Nurse Bloch's evil stretches. And as the episode ends, we're left with an unsettling realization. Bloch is still out there. She may not have horns or claws, but she is, without a doubt, one of the most nightmarish creatures the show has ever unleashed. But what makes her truly terrifying is that she's not just a character in a show. There have been real-life cases of medical professionals who took it upon themselves to decide who should live and who should die. People who die. People who, like Nurse Bloch, saw human lives as mere playthings, their fates resting in the hands of someone meant to protect them. The fear she instills isn't just because of her actions in the show, it's because deep down, we know she represents something real. Imagine going to a hospital for treatment, trusting that you're in safe hands, only to find yourself at the mercy of someone like Nurse Bloch. It's the stuff of real nightmares. Evil taps into that fear brilliantly, showing us that sometimes the scariest monsters aren't the ones lurking in the shadows. They're the ones smiling at us in plain sight. And it makes you wonder how many people like Nurse Bloch exist in the real world. How many patients have fallen victim to those meant to save them? The idea that someone in a position of power, someone trusted, could be the very one to bring suffering is a universal fear that the show exploits masterfully. We trust doctors, nurses, and caregivers with our lives. But what if that trust is misplaced? The show makes us face a terrifying question. What if true evil isn't hiding in the darkness, but standing right in front of us, wearing a mask of kindness? Evil has given us many terrifying moments, but none quite like Nurse Plague. Her chilling presence, her disturbing motivations, and her ability to slip through the cracks make her the scariest villain to appear more than once. But now, I want to hear from you. What was your scariest moment watching Evil? Was it a demon, a monster, or was it the horrifyingly real terror of Nurse Bloch? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown of the most terrifying villains in TV history. Stay safe out there, because you never know who's watching. And if you think this was chilling, just wait. because evil has more horrors lurking beneath the surface ones we haven't even begun to explore. Stay tuned, because next, we're diving even deeper into the twisted psychological nightmares that make this show one of the most terrifying on television. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. And remember, sometimes the scariest monsters aren't hiding in the dark. They're hiding in plain sight, smiling, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Watch your back.